Hello, welcome to one more video lesson. This time we're going to talk about verb patterns. Just like the picture behind this title, patterns of verbs respect different behaviors when they go together. We're talking about verb plus verb collocations. We have been talking about this in class, and now we're going to zoom in on the details. So, as for the first big category, infinitive or ing verbs, remember, first category to infinitive, we've had these examples in class. Now, I would like you to stop to pay attention to some verbs. Are you familiar with them? Do you know how to use, for example, can't afford, claim, long eyes as a verb, refuse, and threaten? Stop and go to the dictionary and come back in a few minutes. Moving on, second category, verbs plus verbs when the object may be optional. I'm pretty sure you are familiar with these verbs. Just try and think a little about the differences between expect, hope, and wait. Okay? Let's move on. Now, verbs plus to infinitive, which are always used with objects. Guys, are you familiar with the meaning of enable, encourage, beautiful word formation? How exactly do we use remind? How does it differ from remember and recall and resemble? Wow! Forgive me, guys, this was not meant to happen. I was thinking of verb urge and verb train. Before we move on to verb plus verb ing only, okay? So before we move on, stop and go to the dictionary to check on the meanings and uses of these verbs. Well, as for ing only, we've had these examples in class. Now, think about the can't verbs. Huh? Think of the meaning of fancy, and now go to the dictionary, check the other uses of fancy as an adjective. Think of the differences between miss and lose. Think of the spelling. How about the meaning of resent? And the difference in meaning between spend and waste. Okay, bare infinitive without to. We talked about these cases in class. Just remember that make used in the passive voice is followed by to infinitive. Now, as for the second big category, verbs that take infinitive and ing, first lot of verbs without changing meaning. We've discussed about this before. If you were confused about bother, go double check it. Okay, verbs to infinitive or ing with changing meaning. We've talked about them in class, so try and remember the differences. Okay, finally, the special cases. We've talked about prefer. We've talked about prefer being synonym of would rather. And some examples. Yes, remember that would rather and had better are also synonyms, but attention, if this was an open-close type of test, you say would rather, but had better. Check out on the uses. Had better is also used with bare infinitive, just like would rather. Big detail. Hear, see, and watch, verbs of perception. We've discussed about them in class. Bare infinitive or ing. Used to, past habits, and present habits. Remember, present habits followed used to plus verb ing. Okay, don't forget that. Last but not least, there. Have a look at the examples. If verb there is used in the affirmative form, it's used with to. Negative form, the use of to is optional. But in the idiomatic use, how dare you, the verb will always be bare infinitive, okay? So, I hope you will take my observations into consideration. Make sure to go check all these words in the dictionary. And, well, see you next class, huh? Guys, thanks for watching.